Good morning, Facebook. What's up? This is Girl C. You know, I'm always dropping a little knowledge on my page, and especially around election time. Everybody upset about the whole Trump situation, but when I get done posting this video, I'm gonna post an interview from Donald Trump back in '88. He was on the Oprah show. He spoke on he at the time he was asked about running, but he said if the country got too bad, he would think about running. He wouldn't rule it that totally out. But this was like more than like 25 years ago. He spoke it into existence, and he's ran before. Like, I ran into a lot of people who felt like they didn't take him seriously, and you know but then when I told him, I'm like, hey, he's ran before. This is not the first time he's ran for president. you know so I mean, and I'm my disclaimer is, I voted for Hillary too. you know um but you have to, I know everybody upset, about what you think his views may be. You always got to keep in mind that during campaigns, I've been heavily involved and been into politics since I was like about 7, 8 years old. You know, and you gotta, our political system has been, pretty much taught to us since we was young. A lot of people tend to forget the electoral college. The electoral college is a part of choosing the president. Where our vote really counts is locally, because nationally, at the end of the day, when you talk about Congress, remember the House of Representatives, and then you had the Senate. Those people speak for us. So that's where our vote really counts. And they glorify and pump the presidential campaign, the president. But really, you know, everything your vote counts at the Senate level, at the House of Representative level, the governor. Those areas, those people are the people who really speak for you, because they're on the ground. Trump is just on the high level. So, whatever he does, believe me, if we talk to our reps locally, or make sure we're involved in our local community and our local government, that's where the change needs to happen. It starts with us, because the state has their things that they do from a state government level. Then you have stuff that you have that's on the federal level. Hence the example, marijuana. You see, in the states, you can make marijuana. Marijuana is legal on the state level, but illegal on the federal level. But it's a way to do things, and from a state level, that you don't have to worry about the federal government to a certain degree. It's just all about laws, how to get around the laws, verbiage, and sort of like that. But I'm getting off track on that. But hey, I voted for Hillary. I've been a Democrat all my life. Like, and it's some things that I, disagree with. Some Republicans, probably some of the newer, younger ones, I agree with some things, but I don't agree with all things. And I think from a Republican standpoint, they need to, it's just changing that mindset of, for me, I've always, I've had personal experiences with Republicans, and, their mindset, they just need to change their mindset, that old school mindset of not being inclusive. Like, I understand they want to make money, but you got people of other ethnicities that want to do that same thing. And matter of fact, it's people out there that are black, brown, whatever nationality, making a good living. So and then the other part of that, this last part, If you as an American individual, you only can control you. You can't control who's in office. You can't control all the other things that, all the noises and everything that goes on outside of everything. But you can control your path and how you succeed as an individual, how you're how passing on that knowledge, how your kids will succeed, planning, planning, strategic planning, planning for your life, planning for a career. If you're working 50 and 60 hours, I was watching this one Ohio voter that voted for Trump. And he wasn't an angry old man, or he wasn't being a racist. It wasn't even about all that. It was, for him, it was keep bringing back the manufacturing jobs. But see, a lot of those people still need to realize too. He's older, of that baby boomer generation, or that some of the traditional generations that still believe in manufacturing. The other part they need to understand about that, this is 2016. Manufacturing is it's still around, but it's sort of going away because of technology. I mean, eventually it'll get to a point where, when it comes to manufacturing, humans won't be needed. Humans will be needed to maybe fix and develop the technology. But at some point, people won't be needed to manufacture things. So those people that grew up in those times where technology wasn't prevalent like it is now, you have to adjust to what the change is. It's a lot of people out here that want to go back to that, how it was, back then. America's great. It's always going to be great, because we have different opportunities. We had a freedom to do a lot of different things. But, you still have to realize that our world is changing. We have a new generation, who, millennials who, think about the world differently. Like all the freedom, everything our forefathers and everybody and our ancestors fought for, the freedoms and the liberties that we have, allows the millennials or the millennial generation to make the decisions and do the things that they can do now freely. But on both sides of it, a lot of a lot of our older voters, they feel like they want that old, the manufacturing, the jobs and all that. And then it's another piece to that. It's called, business. That's the business side. And Trump, he knows that well. You have business. And, at the end of the day, a lot of the businesses are taking their companies out of the country because, their labor laws are different. We can't control their labor laws. We can't get mad at the fact that their labor laws and how they run their government is different than ours. We can't make people change their government to match our government. Over in China, they have it set up in a certain way where, hey, they got all the companies go over there. You can go online. I can order a piece of clothes. I can order 10, 16 shirts at $3 to $4 a pop, handmade, made from scratch. It may take 3 or 4 weeks to get here, but I spend less money on clothes getting my clothes made. Further when I in the U.S., you're gonna spend way more money. But it is places you can find here that you can shop around. You got deals where you can get clothes, but there's options out here. The technology, our internet, everything gives us the option of having to shop where we want to shop, buy where we want to buy. So, that's not controlled. I mean, and that's one of the freedoms we can spend our money where we want to spend our money, and unfortunately, it's just You had the companies have taken that opportunity to, if they can save money as a business and get the skills that they and still get twice the production and make their money work for them from a business standpoint, they doing it. Companies like Apple, companies like Microsoft, even I work for companies that even considered contracting out help desks to to other countries like India in particular. You may see when you talk to people, talk to different companies and customer services. You might give people a different language. Some people, are upset by that. That they have to talk to, someone from a different country when it comes to help desk or IT support. So I think it's just it's overall, everyone, hey, I feel your pain. I was hurt, a little bit. I was down for Hillary, and at the end of the day, hey, it's the campaign is a competition like anything else. So I mean, she won. I mean, she didn't win. Fair and square. But hey, things happen. We just got to move on and focus on ourselves. Focus on what we can control and make our life better. Of course, it may. This is. I'm 40 years old. I've been in the world 40 years, and hopefully I get to see 40 more. And we made it through a Bush administration. We wasn't totally happy about some of the things he did. The forefront of what he was doing was the war, and all that. But then he did something positive that I felt was good. He was part of signing to get funded to help build the Smithsonian, the African American Smithsonian that's in the D.C. that tells the history of African Americans, our successes of breaking barriers. So I mean, we when we think about the president, we put that that's a position. That's somebody who runs our country, that's responsible, responsible for our country, or our ambassador for our country, and help, part of help making decisions on how our country moves forward and becomes better. And so I think, you just gotta embrace. We have to embrace what's going on, y'all. We gotta embrace it. I understand you upset. And then a lot of people, like I said earlier, about the Electoral College, the Senate, the House of Representatives, all the stuff that we were taught in grade school and high school, all that stuff, that's what's going on right now. And for those who don't understand the political process, it's important for you. It's important for you to learn the process. Everybody out here just going off of the media. The media is what it is. Trump, he didn't like the media, but he used it. He used the media, to do what he needed to do to win the campaign. So, and we might we might think he's this bigoted person. He may not be that person, as a president. Because and if he's not, then he's not gonna get anything done. But hey, I'm hopeful. As far as I'm concerned, he got 4 years. Hopefully he does. Does great things. That and what we go through is not as bad as what we think we're gonna go through as a country. I'm all for definitely allowing until getting the countries where we can compete. We always been competing when it comes to jobs, but the companies got to be. I do agree to a certain degree. The companies have to find a way to sustain themselves and keep jobs here, and still recruit from a diversity standpoint. but you want to keep jobs here, but you wanna just know that just because you keep jobs here in the U.S. doesn't mean that you're not going to expand as a business in other countries. And us as we at US, we have to understand that, like, we've been such a this super bad power country, and we have this ego about, hey, we the US, this is who we are, this is what we do, you're gonna battle us. We got to stop that. Like, we have to work with these other countries. These other countries, they do what they do. It's some things they do that they've done. Like, for example, same-sex marriage. Same-sex marriage was legal in Africa way before it was legal. We thought about it being legal. It's legal in places that, so we behind trying to catch up when it comes to our education system. There are other countries that are advanced. Japan, China, South Korea, and Korea. The kids is, now they have a high level of suicide, but there's a pressure placed on them to succeed. Or it's nothing else. Either you succeed or nothing. So we have a lot of opportunities here. People just have to utilize. You gotta learn how to maneuver the system that you're in, because the system, you do have to come to an acceptance that, yes, we are a part of a system, but how you learn how to function, the biggest part throughout your life is understanding what your skill is, what your gift that God has given you to give to the world, and you activate that in the best way you can through education, experiences with work, people, and you can be successful as anybody else. Like, and some people might say, oh, it's easy for you to say, or it's not easy for me to say. Like, being a black lesbian, well, I'm gonna say black woman and a lesbian, technically to a lot of people, those are three strikes. And I've been down that struggle, down that corporate path since I was 20, 21 years old. So I understand. That they are real barriers. But that's when you have to muster up whatever you can to break the barriers. Because if you're the first one laying the path, or going down that road or going down that path, just know that it's going to be some bumps in the road. Because nobody has been through it before. Nobody may have been through that situation, or nobody may have met a person like you, or they may have racist tendencies, or not. I won't say racist tendency. I think it's like, it's just being uneducated and not being exposed in your environment. Racism is taught. Because if you don't know, like for example, I know a close friend of mine. She lived in a small town here in Indiana, and she's a Caucasian woman. Her family grew up in a small town that was extremely racist. A black family came and moved into the town, and yeah, it was a big problem then. And, she dealt directly with, like, her stepfather, being racist, and she just thought different. But when she went to college, she got away from that town. And, she realized it was just a whole world of diversity. Like, she moved away from that town. And, and just learned a whole different perspective about diversity and educated herself, she could have, followed her step, and her thought process could have still been the same as her stepfather in that town and still remained. She could have came back and said, hey, I'm still living in this town because this is what I believe. I don't want, any diversity. I don't want to move forward. I don't want to change. This is what I want my world to be. But she didn't. She went out, the experience changed who she was and gave her enough strength to move out of the town. And so we have to understand too, is towns, small towns of people, 500, 1,000, where there is no black people there, or there's no diversity there. And, hey, and what people are taught is what people are taught and exposed to in their environment. That's what it is. But it's up to it's like I said, still up to the individual. Even each individual in that town. When you believe what you believe, but you still have to believe, you have to be willing to be open-minded. Nobody says that you have to bend your morals and values, but you still have to be open. You have to be open-minded. You can't try. You can't think someone's beneath you. Because we all on the equal playing field. Nobody's better than anybody. Money is money. But if you take away that money, because you can have that money today and it be gone tomorrow, and then who would you be? Who is the individual? Who are you if you don't have that money? You don't have material things. Who are you worth? What is your legacy? That what matters. So hey, I just thought I'd drop some knowledge. I think this is probably the most this is probably one of my longest little tidbits I dropped. But I just thought I'd drop it on everybody, and I know people's probably still gonna, people gonna feel the way they gonna feel, and this is not to offend anybody in any way. I just want to make sure I put that disclaimer in there. This is not to offend anybody, to favor some particular, favor Trump, favor Hillary, anything. Is to educate people. Because you have to educate yourself about the whole process. And once you do that, then you'll understand. You won't be so outraged. You can be outraged, but if you're not educated about what's going on, then it's just feelings. You're going to have those feelings. We all have feelings. I really wanted Hillary to win. A lot of people that I voted for, John Gregg, because I live in the state of Indiana, John Gregg, Evan Bayh, I wanted Democratic, straight Democratic ticket. Everybody didn't win that I voted for. But I have to accept that. That's what you got to accept. And then move forward. If you have already, and say, I'm already working and in my community. I work with my community every day. Each and every individual person every day. If they need just a little bit of knowledge or a little bit of advice to help them move forward in their life, to make their life comfortable, where they can live a prosperous life, I'm willing to give that feedback, willing to give that piece of knowledge. And we all have to be willing to do that. And focus on people, focus on the ground. Don't worry about the big things. Like some of the big things will... if it's not laws, there's a way around it. So you just got to do your homework. You got to understand the law, how to get around it, how to work the system to benefit you, not to chain you up, not to limit you. We do have some people, in this country where they utilize the system for the wrong reasons. The system, certain things in the system is available if you need them, not for you just to stay on them, and that be your crutch. So like I said, I could talk for hours, but I'm gonna give y'all this little tidbit, and anybody comment, you're free to comment. Just make sure you keep it respectful. Respectful comments are welcome. A respectful debate. You possibly could, I know that people may disagree with some of the things I said. Some of you may agree. I'm open. Hey, I'm definitely open for that dialogue. I want to start that dialogue or conversation because there's a lot of things that's going on at the top, but the people at the bottom, we got more say so. So I mean, we got to be the one to do something about it. So happy Thursday. And I'll talk to you guys later.